Hello, I think it's time for an infographic. So, what have I been doing in the last few weeks? I've been struggling in Arena, for starters. I haven't unlocked Mephisto, haven't unlocked Odin, and I'm having a torrid time in Arena. I'm dropping down into the top 20, which is pretty bad by my standards. So, I've had a lot of time to think, and this is something I've been meaning to do for a while. I've been looking at all various different team descriptions, and there are bonuses with certain factions and teams. So you've got arena bonuses, raid, Crucible, War, and I thought I'd put them all together in an infographic, which will hopefully be useful. So I start off with the green list, and this is the list of teams which I think you can ill afford to skip on. So you see all these content creators, they say, oh, you know, if you're starting the game now, you only need to invest in a handful of teams. Well, they're not wrong. And these are the teams which I would invest in and prioritise. They're the ones that will do well for you in Arena and in Raids, because those two game modes will give you the most bang for your buck. Now, if you also want to enrich your Marvel Strike Force playing experience and have a profound enjoyment of the game, you might want to do well in Crucible and War as well. And we have here in what I call my amber list, i.e. teams that you can certainly consider and invest in if you've got the time, inclination and resources. And these teams will do well for you in those two game modes. These are also teams which, if I were to encounter them in Crucible and War, I'd probably be thinking, ooh, don't fancy taking them on, or I need to think long and hard about what I would use to counter these ones. So these are all teams, they're fairly useful, they're still relevant, and they can still do a job, but I would not prioritise them over the ones on the green list, because the ones on my green list are the ones that you definitely need to invest in order to do well in the primary game modes. So that's my amber list, and some of these teams will probably fall off and go into my red list at some point. Now the red list, which I've got over here, are a collection, it's pretty sorry collection actually, of teams which are unfortunately no longer relevant in this game. Some of them lived a very short life, like Bionic Avengers. Some of them were fairly useful for a while, like Brotherhood. And some of them hold some nostalgic value as well. But all of them, I would say, are teams that if I were to encounter them in War or Crucible, I would probably be rubbing my hands in glee because I have a solution to them. Or I can set one of the other teams on them and stick auto going. So these teams, I mean, some of them like Pegasus, for example, it wasn't that long ago when they were the tech solution to the latest raids. But unfortunately, they have all fallen by the wayside, and it would be a real waste of resources to invest in these guys because they aren't really going to do well in the most relevant game modes in this game anymore. So that would be my red list. And if we go back to the green list, these are the teams which, as I say, a lot of content creators, they're saying, actually, you don't have to invest that many teams. And they're not wrong. These are the teams that I would invest in. They're the teams that you need for the Orcus raids, for the various lanes in the Orcus raids, including the Night Stalkers team, which will hopefully be the solution to the Mystic section. And obviously, you've got the prerequisites for the Incursion raid. That's the Alpha Flight and the Spider Society. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing, sort of working on in the background. I've always really wanted to do this. I've always been fascinated by the various synergies between various characters, and obviously different teams confer various bonuses to various game modes. Can we make the most of that to do well in those game modes? Possibly. But for now, hopefully that helps, and hopefully that'll be useful to you guys.